Stoicism is unlike any other philosophy in the world. Almost 2,000 years have passed since its origin. Its teachings still remain relevant in today's contemporary world, and they continue to astonish us with their timeless wisdom. We have control over how we approach things. Rather than imagining a perfect world, a utopia, the Stoic practices realism and pragmatism, while pursuing one's self-improvement through virtues such as wisdom, understanding the world without prejudice, logically and calmly, courage, facing daily challenges and struggles without complaints, justice, treating others fairly, and temperance, voluntary self-restraint or moderation. People who cultivate these virtues can bring positive change in themselves and in others. Today, we colloquially use the word Stoic to mean someone who faces pain or hardship without the display of feeling, someone who remains calm under pressure, avoiding emotional extremes. While this notion is important to Stoicism, the philosophy goes beyond just an attitude. Stoicism can help us find calmness in a world filled with pain, anxiety, and insatiable desires. To Stoics, we live in a reality that does not care about our personal opinions. We cannot ask it to remove the pain and suffering. But this does not mean that we're helpless. There are two domains of life: the external, the things that happen in our lives which we cannot control, and the internal, how our mind reacts and interprets the external reality, which we can control. Focusing on the things we cannot control will make us endlessly unsatisfied. We must then focus solely on what we can control. Our sense of joy comes from the pursuit of the meaningful things in our lives, not superficial things. A truly satisfied person is someone who can live without the things that he desires or feels comfort with. No wealth, material abundancy, fame, or power has any value if the person who possesses them has not yet learned to live properly without them. It is, after all, temporary. As Marcus Aurelius puts it, almost nothing material is needed for a happy life for he who has understood existence. Temporarily refraining ourselves from the things that we depend on can prove how truly strong you are without the things that you think that you need. Only then can we know that we have been using them not because we needed them, but because we had them. We must realize that nothing is good or bad inherently, but only our judgments and interpretations of things can be good or bad. We should strive in an acceptance and indifference towards everything that happens, focus our attention on controlling our reactions to the things that happen, acting virtuously regardless of misfortunes life might bring us. With this, we can begin to get rid of the chaos of the world and find some sort of happiness and presence within ourselves. Life is not a sprint. We're usually unsatisfied with what our life is, and we compare ourselves to other more successful people. We're constantly looking to the future potential of what our lives could be. The reality is that we always live in the present, and we should not compare ourselves to others, but rather focus on improving ourselves both physically and mentally. It is hard since we're surrounded by a culture that convinces us that the more stuff we have and the more popular we are, the happier we will be. It is true that material stuff brings us happiness, but it is a trap. It gives us short-term pleasure and a desire for more. The stuff we frequently chase in life reveal to be rather petty and insignificant in the grand scheme of things. We must define our happiness not by what we own or achieve, and certainly not by what others see us as, but by how we think, how we view ourselves, and how we live our own life through our virtues. And this can be attained by accepting reality as it is, being indifferent to what we cannot control, and pursuing our self-improvement. To Stoics, this is how we remain happy and satisfied with ourselves. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength. If you are pained by an external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it, and it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. We should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is or is not in my control? Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. I judge you unfortunate because you have not lived through misfortune. You have passed life through without an opponent. No one can ever know what you're capable of, not even you. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. To live a good life, we all have the potential for it, if we learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now, take what's left and live it properly.
Recon.
God damn it, Paul.
Put you in the sickle for the harvest is right. We ain't down for wickedness, false prophets a lie. Woe into the wicked grass of blind to sight. Unquenchable flame, stars fall in the night. Shemayim snapped the scroll, mountains fled in the anger. Hills a flock of rams, skipping special forces, recon angels. Really by no labels, we bout labor for the source. Wells up in infinite, waters coming forth. Spiritual revival, dehydration shall I pour. Kept the run down to the Mount cool floor. Kingdom heaven in me is parts of the morbid head. Treasure like deep in you keep to the never end. We all a ray, a fragment piece of the sea sledge. Point of a sinner, he segment filled in with ether. Hit me on the end, you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covered in Nehemiah, not Easter. We all a ray, a fragment piece of the sea sledge. Point of a sinner, he segment filled in with ether. Hit me on the end, you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covered in Nehemiah, not Easter. Not a game, stolen the soul arrangement. Adversary in the details, mirrors and smoking angels. Incriminating emails, fake news, read the paper. Pimping who been printing, it's all designed to take ya. Division in your cells, almighty sustain. Ain't got how relying on nothing else. In trouble, it's all vapor, elder wind in the sails. The water, the whole rainbow, reclamation, just a vessel, a wrestle. Jonah, you can't feel. Stay mind, woe it holy. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my wing. Stay mind, dwell with holy who, Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my wing. Force tremendous, Bill Adam breath, living dust, mushy for the enemy, burnt down like a Dutch. Once upon a distant, dirty sackcloth in the ashes. Truth don't grow with mischief, prayer get raised about the ashes. Save me from the Mario, it fell of not your pasture. Had you not an anchor, if you save me, I'll be thrown to the thief, leech, mind of the corn. Stone in the sling, sing signs in the storm. Rock foundation, time echo with the north. Recon over game, wings fly with the force. All purpose type material to camouflage the course. Tiger stripe, orange, red, drip from the source. We all array, your fragment piece of the sea sledge. Point of a center, he segment filled in with ether. He'll be on it then, you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covenant in Nehemiah.
God damn it, Paul.
Stay mind, dwell with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my word. Stay mind, dwell with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my wing.
The government is a figment of your imagination. It's an artificial, intelligent overlay. It is only a concept. It's a play. It's a performance. It's an act. They love when I have to fucking go off. I can look at something from a few different sides, and I can see where it all connects despite what they're telling me. Right? They just look at what they're told. I look at what makes sense. You know, they'll say I'm doing word salad. They'll say that I'm just going off on my own tangent, but that is because my mind works in a different way than the majority of the slaves. You guys are all in your feelers and never see the logic behind life, how it all moves together and fits together and how it works. So when you learn to check your feelers and move them out of the way and just observe with clarity and presence and awareness, you will make the right determinations and the right decisions. It's all the same shit over and over again. And no matter how much I speak on self-empowerment, self-mastery, self-reflection, you all have a belief and a feeling that's going to trump
God damn it, Paul.
ancient wisdom that works for everybody who embodies the path. You're not your own God. I know you want to be, but you're not. As soon as you get in line with what that thing wants from you or what is, you'll stop having these fucking problems. So I view all the rest of this shit as a distraction. Governance is an act and a play, and it requires your belief and participation. The culture, the society, the legal system, the legal society, policy, statute, and code is the original artificial intelligence and state of consciousness that has been overlaid on the NI. And that's why you have domesticated slaves and you have uncivilized men like myself. You don't want to accept that there's an objective morality that exists in this realm that every man and woman can comprehend using objective logic. It's not about wanting the fame and the riches. It's about being good at what you do, being recognized for it, and then when you get to the dance, telling all the people to suck your dick in public and leave because you never wanted to bond with them anyway. That's the whole point of being true to yourself, is so that wherever you get to that you're meant to go, you don't have to change that. Quite the opposite. That's what got you there. I got a direct link to that spirit and to the people who chink it in. You can't get in between that. That's beyond worldly power. That's where you go beyond the ceiling that they don't want you to go beyond. That's the stage of inspiration and empowerment. They can't control you no more. They can't influence you no more. They can't put fear on you and things around you to stop you from being who and what you're meant to be. That's the game for me. That's the game for all of us, I thought. Actualized and realized. Written on our heart first and foremost through common sense, that if not overlaid with some dogma and indoctrination, we could all communicate harmoniously, right? So I'm never going to accept, unless my perspective completely changes, that there isn't an objective morality here that can be hit as a standard and understood by any being with the capacity of objective logic, understanding right from wrong, okay? So you just want to say statute, policy, and code is law, and the law is the law, even though they're making it up and revising it constantly. And it's not always in line with objective right from wrong. So you're completely misunderstood. You guys talk from feelers. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your etymology is never sound because you don't care to look into the words and terms. This should not be that difficult. But for beings who lost the ability to imagine, I'm sure that it's quite the Herculean task. You should be able to zoom out and see all the connections and how it relates. You can't do that? You have no business speaking to someone else who can. There is no selfless component to you folks' consciousness. And it's evident because you constantly project onto others how selfish you think they are, because you don't think that that state of consciousness is attainable. Embarrassing. Man, powerful Gorilla Gems intro. They're all powerful. Some of them a bit too powerful, baby. All right, we're on day 6. No food challenge. Nothing but herbal tea. Maybe some fruit juice here and there. About a half a cup or so. So feeling pretty decent. I'm having faith that if I continue this practice and be ultra selfish, I guess you could say, in the sense of caring for my bodily self and not giving it away to the world and the worldly ways to be destroyed. So we'll see. My intention is to do 21 days. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna attempt to do that based on whatever I'm kind of feeling in my body and what seems appropriate. So yeah, I'm gonna rely heavily on the clips today. If you got something that you want to go over, legal or lawful style, I'm here for it. If not, that's gonna be the deal. Here's the deal, right? Speaking of which, I think Brian was saying, "Oh, Christos is down there. I think he wants some inspiration. Christos, you're smart. Christos, you're loyal. Christos, we the best." All right, let me give him some of this.
You smart.
He needs this.
You very smart. We the best. You a genius. I appreciate you. You loyal. I changed a lot. You can too. Win, 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 no matter what. Them doors that was closed, I ripped the doors off and took the hinges off. And when I took the hinges off, I put the hinges in the boy's hands. Yeah, in the boy hands. You know, I took the whole door off and the hinges and I put it in the boy's hands. You could put the hinges on their hands too. Never give up, never surrender. Put this money in your savings account.
There you go. DJ Cal, word from DJ Khaled. It goes on, but who's more inspiring than DJ Khaled, huh? So, yeah, I mean, you know, when we talk about the experience of God or the truth, that is the best. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is extras. All right, let's go to Brian. Brian's got a video up. Apparently the cops were cooking crack at the courthouse. Brian, what are you guys going to do about it? That's the question I keep asking. I'm not going to be mean. See, notice how joyful I am. I'm not even passionate about it. Just straight to the point. Very jovial with jocularity. You know, what are you guys going to do about it? When are we going to be the change? That's the question. The question God and the universe has for all of us. When are we going to be the change in all ways that are apprehensible? I'll just leave it there. So let's see what Brian's got to say.
Actually cooked its own crack cocaine in this building right here to use for undercover drug busts.
What the hell did you just say?
BSO actually cooked its own crack cocaine in this building.
What you talking about, Will?
Without cops, who would cook the crack in the courthouse, distribute the crack from the courthouse, and then arrest you and charge you and convict you in the very same courthouse? That's what's happening that's what happened from 1988 to 1990 from the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Check this out.
Now, drug arrests dating back decades in Broward County are finally being cleared.
Those accused of buying crack made by law enforcement could soon have their records vacated. Local 10's Janine Stanwood is live to explain. Janine.
Wait, crack made by law enforcement. Hey, what's the problem out on the street, boys? We got crack cocaine. What's the solution? Let's make more crack cocaine and send it out on the streets. Good idea, coppers.
Decades ago, when Nick Navarro was sheriff, BSO actually cooked its own crack cocaine in this building right here to use for undercover drug busts.
See, Brian loves it.
Found that
you
that
love
wasn't
it. You guys love it.
Within
Cut it
itself,
out. You don't want it to end. You're not going to do anything to end. You love it.
They found that it's not unconstitutional to cook crack cocaine in a courthouse building.
Yeah, well, why
so
not?
If it's not unconstitutional,
administrative court, we're doing business.
This, then why is it unconstitutional for you to create it? Oh, that's right. It's not, because there's nothing in the Constitution that says that you can't manufacture a certain item. As a matter of fact, something happened before the Constitution called the Declaration of Independence that you have an unalienable right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. And if that's what makes you happy, it's dangerous. It's not good for your health. It could end in your demise, your untimely demise. You can still do it because you're an American and you're free. So they've declared themselves to be immune once again from something else that you're not immune from. And they can cook this product.
See, and this is where every single time Brian misses the mark, because Brian, anything they can do, we can do better. Remember that one, that song back in the day? The fact is, you folks have not honored your status and standing in original position. You've given that up with the documentations and the contracts. That ain't just sob sit mumbo jumbo. So we keep selectively, remembering and obfuscating from the dual jurisdiction idea. So yeah, they put themselves in a commercial jurisdiction. They put everyone else in a commercial jurisdiction. And once everyone's in that status, they can decide who's where. So you're beneath them on the corporate ladder. That's why we have to pull ourselves out of the corporate jurisdiction to retain the power over the corporation that you call government. That's actually a public service. Doesn't call it corporation. It calls it a public service. Now I'm drawing a blank on the third terminology. Public service accommodation is what I believe the UCC refers to it as, and that's anybody with a DUNS number and a TIN number. So that's all state ofs, that's all municipal corporations, that's all service providers, and that's all citizenry that owe allegiance to the United States as defined USC 1A as a corporation. Why do you guys keep ignoring that subtle and nuanced yet very profound and important detail? Every man or woman out there can cook crack. Every man or woman out there can smoke crack. Every man or woman out there could do whatever they want to do under God, as long as they don't breach the peace and cause loss, injury, and harm to their fellow man and woman. Now, the reason why you think they can is because all of you believe you can't, and that when you go to try to, they come and get you and they bring you to court, and you don't know how to stand at court to get dismissals and sue them. So you have no seemingly have no apprehension of what I'm calling common sense or the common law. You only have an apprehension of the world you've been born into and been living in, that you've been mind and heart controlled to experience. If you can control the information, you can control a being's state of consciousness and perspective. If you can control their state of consciousness and their perspective, you can control what information they will receive and not receive. See, it's a feedback loop. So I keep talking, you guys keep having me up, I keep proving concepts, I keep showing that I can have 8 ounces of weed, 10 fucking rifles, 1,000 rounds, body armor, and whatever the fuck else. No license, registration, insurance, and plates, get arrested, have them even tack on felonies that they make up by lying and remixing, and have it all chucked and thrown out and dismissed. And no, I don't need to rat or make deals or anything else. And no, I haven't. Okay? So stop running around and repeating this nonsense that they want everybody to believe, that you all can't do certain things because someone wrote a code down somewhere. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And if you can substantiate who and what you are on the record at court, like 8 to 9 or 10 out of 10 times, the administrator's going to throw it the fuck out because they don't want to incur the liability of you upholding the law and suing them civilly or pursuing criminal charges for an interference of rights, which is the law of this land foundationally. Can we get some fucking clarity here? Can we get some context? Can we broaden the awareness and the horizons here? The this or thatism has to go. All paradox can be resolved if you can change your consciousness to see how it's working. You can't solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. Believing the Constitution is a monolithic document is foolish. There's amendments in there. It establishes a dual jurisdiction. If you don't understand this and you don't operate properly within that construct, you will have everything turned into corporatism and fascism. Oh, wait, it's already happened. And you keep sitting around complaining about it instead of doing something different and encouraging others to do something different when we already have the answers. We already have the solutions. We already have the results. We already have the changes on certain lands because of our results. We get with the program is what I'm asking once again here today. Let's continue.
In their own
Continue
courthouse.
pretending.
Did find that people who were arrested for buying the stuff should have their cases cleared. But the state attorney now has found that that hasn't happened for possibly thousands of cases. Now he wants to help. It was the height of the crack cocaine epidemic for the Broward Sheriff's Office.
Open it up. More.
And one
Look at this. Look at this. We're going to save you from those drugs, doggone it. By putting a gun right next to this guy's cheekbone. What the frick?
tactic that made headlines.
They decided we're going to manufacture our own crack and have detention deputies pose as drug dealers out on the streets.
The drugs are being cooked at the courthouse on the 7th floor.
The state Supreme Court ruled in 1993.
What is it that Brian and DeCastro and the others don't get about the fact that you're laughing and giggling and you don't like this system and these public service providers, but your fellow man and woman who identify as corporate citizens do, and they pay for it and they beg for it and they call them and they want more? Why are you, I'm confused. Why are you going to the revenue generators and the service providers who you all sign up to pay and call when you need assistance and ask for their services and all the rest of it? You sign up to be a part of the corporate body politic. Why are you complaining about it? I don't understand. They're there to generate revenue. All right, that's the bottom line. They're a public service corporation and provider. They're there to provide a service. The service, according to you folks, is to keep you safe. And how are they going to do that? They got to generate revenue because they're running a business. How are they going to do that? They're going to cook crack and they're going to try to sell it undercover. And when you buy it, they're going to arrest you and put you in their private prisons because you all keep begging for public safety. Hello. What are you missing here? What are you missing that the majority of folks around us are begging 24/7, 365, directly or indirectly, for public safety and public service? So you're getting it. Stop begging for it. Stop applying for it. Stop signing up for it. Stop paying for it. And it'll fucking go away or leave you the fuck alone. This isn't that fucking complicated. I don't need to get loud. See, I'm getting loud because I'm care and I'm passionate.
The practice was outrageous.
Cooked in this courthouse on the 7th floor, created, manufactured in the courthouse, distributed from the courthouse. All the convictions take place in the courthouse. You know, other people.
Flowers in her hair. The link is there. Come on up or you're getting thrown out. I'm not interested what you think is ridiculous. I have over half a dozen up to 10 court cases over the past 3 to 5 years. I've got dismissals on all of them. I don't follow your codes, nor do I need to. And every administrator on this land so far has confirmed that because they have no jurisdiction. They have no contract. I know the law and you don't. Don't give a fuck what you think is ridiculous or not. You're supremely uneducated, most likely. You can't find your ass with both hands and you only know what they've shown you and told you. And that's at best half the story. So up or out, not interested what the rabble and the masses think about old Pauly boy. They said they would have said and done the same fucking thing with Jesus Christ, and they did. And if I gave you your way, you'd have a fucking cross built for me and have the Roman guard drag me up and hang me on it to prove that we have to follow orders and be good slaves.
Might call this a criminal drug network or a criminal drug cartel. The problem is the Mexican drug cartel is better because when they sell their product to their customers, they create happy repeat customers. They don't throw them into jail. When the cops create their product, they sell them to their customers, and then the customers go to a jail cell.
On the 7th floor.
The state Supreme Court ruled in 1993 the practice was outrageous, and those arrested should have their records cleared.
He was found not guilty.
Now, more than 30 years later, State Attorney Harold Pryor announcing there could be thousands still on the hook, and the state has an obligation to fix it.
How many lives have been ruined, destroyed? How many families have been torn asunder? How many jobs lost? How many other people turn to probably a life of crime because it's like, well, you're going to consider me a criminal anyway? You know, how much criminal activity did this kind of drug making activity in this courthouse actually spark on the streets of Florida? You know, it appears to me that when cops get involved in this kind of thing, they exacerbate things, they make things worse. Criminal activity increases. It's kind of reminds me of the prohibition back in the 1920s, from 1920 to 1933. Not only did cops and politicians make matters worse, instead of eradicating crime,
All right,
they
I'm done.
increased.
I'm done. I just, every time I watch this guy, I like to work with him. I like to walk with him. We've done broadcasts together in the past. It goes nowhere ultimately on his side or anyone else's side, because they won't walk the walk and they won't describe the actual dynamic to their audience. Either they're incapable. They don't have the above 110 IQ to be able to make the fucking connections intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. I don't believe that's what it is. I think they know exactly what I'm saying is true. I think they know it makes more sense than anything they've ever heard when I lay it all out, from the damn Constitution to before to after, how it all works, how it all comes together, the moving parts. They just don't want to, because they're cowardly. That's the bottom line. I wish it was something different. I look forward to it changing. Hey, anybody's redeemable. If we have enough experiences here, at some point, your heart's going to change. But ultimately, right now, I see you like God sees you, for who and what you are. You don't have to believe in God in order to experience it. And hey, they say that I am that am is made in the image of the Most High. Well, that would mean that I could look at you and know the same thing about you that I know about me: who, what, when, why, and how. Okay? So we might want to like get out of our ego and pride and understand that there's one self here on the highest level, and on the lowest level, we're all doing the same fucking shit for the same reasons, because we've not unified with that higher self. Okay? And that's part of my 6-day fast as well. I noticed that I'm coming more and more into the presence of what you would call God, the feeling and the experience. It's unnameable. It's a force of clarity. It's a force of faith. It's a force of trust and equity. It's a force of knowing that is way beyond belief. So I can tell that as I clean my system out and I create no impediments to the transmission that's going on here, I'm completely in alignment. I've completely clear head and heart and body and vision. I'm completely aligned and unified with that force and walking with it. So once again, another reason I have to be thankful and grateful that the universe, indirectly or directly, based on my choices, brought me quote unquote suffering and pain, so that I could do the next level of my journey and development, which is completing the self-mastery idea, or at least expounding on it, right? Can't just be about rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith. It has to be about health and wealth as well. It has to be about freedom and co-creation, independence, empowerment, inspiration, security, in a sense, in all ways, right? So we're broadening the horizons. We're expanding the tapestry here as a life being, the being experiencing life. I'm going over the chat area. I'm checking in. Nude Guru apparently got his wrench taken because he hanging around here. It tends to happen. Folks start getting really real with themselves and others. Even the nude gurus running around the forest naked, lighting the sage and all the rest of it. They start to get really real with themselves and each other. So Nude Guru apparently went somewhere else, someone we know of, and spoke some truths that apparently weren't too well received, and he had his wrench taken. Hey, does it really matter? Does anyone really care about wrenches online? I don't, nor should I, nor should anyone else, as far as I'm concerned. What we should care about is the truth, co-creation, and justice, and adhering to what experience is showing us. I have a self-proclaimed king here today. What can I do for you, Mr. Steven?
Hello. Did you say self-proclaimed king?
Yes, you're a self-proclaimed king.
Did you get the fish that I sent?
No. I don't know what that means.
You didn't get the fish?
No, I don't know what that means. You can ask me again. It'll be the same answer.
You don't know what that means.
No, I don't know what that means. What can I do for you? How can I help you?
I'm here to help you.
I'm not interested in receiving any help from you at this time. I don't believe that you have any help for me. What specifically are you offering, as has been said?
I'm offering value.
In what form?
In the form of entertainment.
The form of entertainment? I think I got that covered, don't you?
No, your show's getting to be boring. It's getting to be too boring.
As boring as it is, I mean, I only have about 3 to 4 times your subscribers and only do about 10 times your. Excuse me, you're talking over me. You're talking over me.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's not how a king is supposed to conduct himself, right?
Go ahead. Sorry.
You're powerful and secure enough to allow me to speak and not try to interrupt me because you're insecure about a truth I'm speaking that you want to deny. You're
Go
a king.
ahead, sir. I'm turning up your volume.
All right, so my subscriber count is only 3 to 4 times yours, and my daily viewership is only at least 3 to 4 times, if not 10 times yours. So I don't really understand. I don't really understand what would make you think that you have a more interesting or entertaining broadcast or even personality than I do. So I'm not sure how you come to that conclusion. I'm guessing because you're like a lot of other folks on here, kind of delusional and in denial and narcissistic, but I can't prove that.
So you didn't get the box?
No, I didn't get anything. Is there anything else before I let you go?
Yes. How many years have you been doing this?
We'll see you later, okay? I'm not interested in your games. It's like as soon as I decide to move forward and not have the miscreants and deviants here and go on a fast and commune with a higher sense of self, they just can't stay focused on themselves and their own life and stay focused, right? So since you can't do that and you have to constantly come slithering around here and trying to parasite off me and use me and play games with me, I'll help you out and I'll do it for you, right? Because I can stay focused, I can stay disciplined. I do have an apprehension here. And I do have a certain level of results here and even more results that I'm working towards. So not really interested in your perspective or your opinions of me, nor has the reputation of you with anyone really, including myself, been stellar enough for me to entertain your nonsense here today. So your version of entertainment is playing power games and projecting. I'm not interested in that. I have a list of folks I can do that with at any time, and I've shied away from it more recently. So thank you for being here, Queen Stephen. I look forward to seeing in life at some point what you do and create. As of right now, I'm not very impressed, quite frankly. So with that said, we're going to pivot here. Let's go Donnie. They want to hear from Donnie, I think. Donnie, very important man. Says, shut the government down. We're doing government shutdown again like we did 4 years ago. We're looping, a lot of looping going on in the creation, right? It's a wheel within a wheel, the mandala, as the Hindu folks would point out. Trump says, let the government shut down. Start now if debt ceiling isn't a deal. So we see where this is going, by the way. Those of us who are somewhat historically sound and perceptive, we know where this is going, right? We're tearing the corporation is playing both sides. Whether they know it or not, they may be spiritually inhabited. As a matter of fact, I believe that's the case. We have nothing but hosts here and parasites, right? Like just today, even that one little minuscule holographic representation. Paulie Boy is a strong host, and who shows up here to suck off of him? Queen Stephen, of course, like many others. Host parasite dynamic. See, so the host in this case is America, right? And you have a bunch of parasites who've showed up to suck off of the land and the people and God and use it all to aggrandize themselves and to enrich themselves, right? So that's what we have going on here right now. We have parasites in play, and folks are going to have to cut themselves off from co-creating with the parasites to create something outside of what they can use and corrupt and suck off of, right? They essentially have to be overtaken in truth or just exiled. right? Just like we know with the body politic, if you have parasites, they have to be destroyed. They have to be cut out. They have to be expunged, expelled, if you will, from the body politic. So let's go to that. Let's watch the soap opera game that many of them may not even be aware they're playing, because the world is a stage and spiritually folks are being avatared and being used to create their own destruction and other folks' destruction. From the beginning of time,
time is running short to avert a government shutdown. The House resoundingly rejected President-elect Donald Trump's new plan to fund federal operations and suspend the debt ceiling Thursday night, a day before a government shutdown. In fact, more than 36 Republicans joined Democrats in voting down the resolution.
I'm absolutely sickened by a party that campaigns on fiscal responsibility and has the temerity to go forward to the American people and say, you think this is fiscally responsible. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Now Trump's doubling down on his insistence that a debt ceiling increase be included in any deal. And if not, let the closures, quote, start now. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling on House Speaker Mike Johnson to return to the stopgap funding agreement he had negotiated with Democrats.
Right. So I wonder what, even if Trump's the best guy in the world, which we know he's compromised, and it's always the case because, lockdowns, warp speed, take the guns, quote, and all the rest of it. Even if he was the best thing ever, it's not going to matter because this is a bigger picture, right? So Donnie says what we all are saying at this point, who have any common sense. Well, let the U.S. corporation shut down. It's not our actual government anyway. What do you think the people who are involved in all the above ground and underground, metaphorically, activities are going to do if that's the case? What do you think? They're going to go work at Walmart? You think they're going to go work at Home Depot? No, they're going to blow shit up and they're going to blame it on people. And then they're going to say, see, we should have never shut this down because we need this corporation to keep us safe. See, so we're being held over a barrel at this point collectively. There is a spirit inhabiting these folks. It's the spirit of selfishness. It's the spirit of greed. It's the spirit of the worldly ways, control, domination, lack of co-creation, lack of inspiration and true empowerment. And they're not going to allow themselves to be disenfranchised from their endeavor. Quite the opposite. They're going to make your life so fucking hellish that you, just like these cretins on this panel, conceptually have nothing else to do but to accept their presence and their corruption in their attempt to co-create without any imagination or understanding, right? It's the same thing we see on these panels is now projected outward with the government and the world stage. They're literally going to create and have created a scenario where everyone's afraid to just push them out and let them go, because when they're not claiming to want to help you, they're running around trying to destroy you. See? So that you have to accept their presence in your life, right? That's the parasite. That's the narcissist. That's the deceiver. That's the corrupter. That's the accuser. That's the aggressor. That's the divider. That's the disenfranchiser. Okay, so we start here and we provide an example, even 1/117 billionth of a percent of what it looks like to stay focused and be under God and work in trust, equity, and faith and uphold the law and not entertain the loser, failure, parasitic scum. Because they're not going to walk the walk anyway. They're just going to take whatever daddy, God of all media, gets from the God of creation and suck off it and corrupt it to try to use it for their own low-level frequency consciousness worldly purposes. No different than government and the people in the land. It's not even government anymore. It's the U.S. corporation, and that's by their definition. Let's get a clue. So, hey, you want to let government, the corporation, shut down? Great. Just be prepared for a whole bunch of shit to happen and them to just rile you the fuck up like they did the last 4 years to beg them for fucking safety and services. And you'll do it. The majority of you fucking slaves will do it again. When they send the storms, when they do the 5G with the cancer, when they fucking burn shit down and got wildfires, when they send the Wuhan flu through the 5G towers to do exosomal reactions and everyone gets sick, you'll be begging the hospital for their shitty poison medication. I didn't go. You saw me get tumors here on the broadcast. I didn't go to nobody nowhere yet. I got trust and faith in God and what God offers supernaturally and whatever comes forth as far as synchronicity is concerned. But the majority of you citizen slaves, you'll be begging again. Daddy, I need housing funding. Daddy, I need poison medications. Daddy, I need internet service that destroys my genome. Yeah, we know. We know how it works. So don't fucking complain, Brian and DeCastro and all the rest of you. You're deep in the bowels of Babylonia. And you don't plan on getting out. So stop fucking complaining because you keep begging for it. You keep asking for it. You keep serving it. You keep paying for it. And then you want to complain about it. I'll say it for the 1,000th fucking time. How about getting your heads out of your asses? How about growing some fucking balls? How about expanding your heart and your mind? How about upholding the law, exercising rights and freedoms? And how about coming together? Not on the internet jack-offs. That's literally jacking off. You want to come together on the internet like we're on a webcam. We're FaceTiming. How about you come together on the fucking land together and do actual community and live like men and be part of a fucking movement? You won't do it because you're too scared. The feds and DHS are going to come like they did for me on the side of the road, waiting for me. They were tracking my location 2 years back, literally waiting at the one road exit to the state right 50 miles away. As soon as we passed them, 2 cars came out on me and my buddy. You're too fucking scared to have a face-to-face conversation with your masters who are just like you. They show up and they're in the box with you and questioning, and you realize they're just like you if you let it be. They're nothing like you if you let it be. That's the difference from them looking at you in the box and saying, oh, you're just like me, a corrupt piece of shit. You don't stand for nothing. Next. Versus them saying, man, Paulie boy, you're really about this? You're putting it all on the line? You're doing what the fuck we signed up to do and put the costume on to do, but are too fucking scared to do? We fucking respect you, boy. And we're not looking to fry your ass because we need more Paulie boys out here or we're fucked. Yeah, you don't know what it's like to really fucking lead from in a box through the bars with DHS and Homeland and all the rest of them asking you fucking questions about how you could go above and beyond with just you and God, right? That's a different level of inspiration and empowerment. That's a different level of self-worth and self-value. That's a different level of what can I do for God and country rather than what can God and country do for me. Everyone forgot about that. That's why we're at where the fuck we're at. It ain't no mystery to me.
Democrats.
Mr. President, if Republicans do not work with Democrats in a bipartisan way very soon, the government will shut down at midnight. It's time to go back to the original agreement we had just a few days ago.
Trump and billionaire ally Elon Musk unleashed their opposition and social media army on the first bipartisan plan Johnson presented that did not address the debt ceiling situation.
Debt ceiling. Tell me all about it. Built to fail. Another thing built to fail. Fat tyrant female cops get owned. Dismissed, ID refusal.
Morning.
You work for Parkland? Sir, you cannot be recording like that.
Like what?
I'm just saying, like, you have any permits to be recording inside the...
I don't understand what you're asking me.
Because you were recording inside the booth. You were looking for something specific?
Yeah, you can say
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Like, you have a permit to be recorded.
Do I need a permit?
For Parks Department.
Do I need a permit?
I'm just asking.
Oh, okay. That's a cute bag.
Getting too close to her? Yes.
It's
Yes. You're getting too close to her.
It's too close to law?
Yes. You need to move forward. You can record from there. Yes. You can record whatever you want, but move forward. You're like in our space right now.
You can stand there.
Yes, you can stand right there too.
You can watch me if you don't feel safe. You can turn your body camera
Yes,
on.
that's what
but
I
I'm in
just did.
public, ma'am.
Yes, but you can step right there, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Right
Am
there.
I committing a crime, ma'am?
You're not committing a crime.
So please make
So
me
yes, but I want you to stand right there because I don't feel safe to have you that near to me, right?
You're the one with the gun, ma'am. I don't have a gun.
That doesn't mean anything.
So I don't feel safe with you coming up to
That
me.
doesn't mean anything. I don't know you. I don't know you.
What's more important, public safety or police safety?
Leave him. Leave him. He's just looking for an excuse to fight and argue.
I didn't say anything to you. I didn't say anything to you.
Am I talking to him?
You're talking about me.
You, right?
You're talking about me in front of my face.
I can do whatever I want to, right? You do?
No, you can't because you're at work.
Okay, have a good day.
I can't.
Have a blessed day.
You're a public servant.
Jesus
So
says,
you have policies,
have a good day.
right?
Have a good
I
day.
didn't say
Do
anything
you
to
need anything from us?
No, you got a bottle of water? Okay, so I'm good, thank you.
There's water in the concession stand.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Can your car since you turn your body camera on?
No, I don't have it.
I have one.
You don't have a right to know that? Yeah, you can write your name on that for me.
Yes, I could write it. Definitely.
What's more important, man? Police safety or public safety?
Whatever you
Clearly, police safety is more important. It's three of you. Three guns.
me, it's both,
Three
but
guns. I have no
whatever-
gun.
whatever.
All I have is a camera, and you're worried about my camera?
I'm not worrying
It's a
about
very
your
nice
camera.
camera,
I never said about the
It's a very nice camera.
So why are you so worried about it? I'm not a threat to you.
Say like you were too close to us.
Okay, that's
Very
not
nice
a
camera. Yeah.
that's not a law.
Well, I don't know your
If we was in
intentions.
time,
Getting too
if
close
we was
to
in
us.
time, you never asked me my intentions.
Okay,
I don't follow unlawful orders.
So if you want,
I don't
stay
follow
here.
unlawful orders, ma'am.
so you are doing it right now because I'm
Doing what?
giving you a lot. I'm telling you to please step a little bit back.
You're requesting.
I'm asking you.
Yes,
And
that's a
who am I?
request.
Who am I?
I don't know. You didn't identify
no.
yourself to me.
Mena?
How do you know I can
Right?
read?
I'm a police officer, right? You just said it, right? I'm a
Oh, you
public
know how to
servant.
use a smartphone and you don't know how to read.
There's many people that don't.
What is it you don't understand? Who am I? I'm a police, and what does that mean? What does that mean? That means I have a more right and ability than you do, because I serve you, right? That make a sense? That make a sense, right? I serve you, but I have more right and ability than you have, right? Because you're mistrained. And it makes sense because all of you citizen slaves show up as citizens, and you claim that you're part of the public safety endeavor. So that means you've contracted in, like I said before. So when she says, I'm a public safety, you most likely on a record as a slaver, and now I'm going to tell you what to do, right? And again, even if you weren't on record as that and you were a quote unquote American national as they perceive it, and you didn't identify as a United States corporate citizen, they'd still have this same perspective because you're in corporatism and fascism and Cold War takeover at this point, where pretty much no one knows the law, no one knows God, no one understands trust, equity, and faith. They're just operating out of fear and they're following codes because they can't find their ass with two hands. Where we're at. It's where it always goes, by the way. Go look at Nazi Germany when you get a chance.
Please just step a little bit back. If you want to keep standing next to us, just put your mask down so we can see your
I'm
whole
okay.
face.
I'm okay.
Okay, so step
I don't
back.
want to make you blush.
Step back.
I'm okay. I'm waiting for her card,
No,
ma'am.
but you can step back.
I know I can.
Okay, so
Please don't touch me, ma'am.
so step back. I don't
You don't
want
have
you
to
next.
touch me, ma'am. I'm
But
not a
I don't
threat
want
to
you
you.
next
I'm not
to
a threat
us.
to you.
I don't want next to us.
I'm not a threat to you.
So put your mask.
I don't want you next to us.
Because I don't.
And make
I
it
don't
a
feel
law.
safe.
I also have the Fourth Amendment. I can hide my identity if I want.
Okay, so step back.
I'm writing
You're
a new code right
you're
now.
in our face.
That's fine. You're not in no danger, ma'am. My intent is to record. Because I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. Are you telling us? That's enough.
You think everybody in New York is a threat to you? That's what you think?
Apparently, because that's what you're doing right now with us.
All I'm doing is
That's what I'm
recording
saying.
you.
That's your intention. Right. No problem.
All I'm doing is recording, ma'am. I didn't even say anything to you.
Well,
If you didn't say anything to me,
are not good.
if you didn't say anything to me, so
And looking for conversation.
we're in. I didn't ask you. I didn't speak to you, ma'am. You spoke to me.
How's your day going, sir?
So far, so good. I can't complain. Thank you for asking.
It's a beautiful day, right?
Sure is.
It's a concert later on today. If you're interested.
Appreciate that, ma'am.
And tomorrow.
And tomorrow
And
too.
tomorrow.
Wow, who's gonna be there? How do you say your name?
Zapata Aracena.
And you think everybody in America could say that last name? Because we can read, right?
Oh, wow.
It's about being polite and courteous.
Oh, why?
What does that mean, shoemaker?
Pronunciation. It's not even about knowing.
It's still about being polite.
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
Everybody can pronounce. Some people say zapata. You can say it however you want because everybody has a different type of pronunciation.
Do you know the rate of autism in America right now? And you're just assuming that everybody could read? And dyslexia?
Do you have anything else?
No, I'm chilling. I'm just recording. What's the problem? Excuse me. I'm going to walk this way. I don't want you to get scared, okay? You're so worried about police safety and you took the job. Isn't that ironic? You signed up to be a cop. So you signed up to be worried your whole career? You got to know how to fill out situations. Clearly, I'm not a threat to you. I have no bulge, no nothing, just a camera.
You have a bag. We don't know how you
You're having no bulge. Why?
How long is it gonna, by the time I go in my bag, you can shoot me.
Why do I know your intention so you will have to get
What is my face going to tell you? What is my face going to tell you, ma'am? Please tell me what my face is going to tell you.
You can have something in your neck. I don't see it.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
It's pretty far-fetched.
Whoa. That's what things
It's a possibility, but it's a stretch.
Well, but that's one of the many.
I'm not here to harm you. I said it 4 times already. I'm here to record.
That's not an evidence.
Okay.
Because at one time you can do whatever you want.
So can you.
So.
We're now in a world where if you want to get a woman's attention, you have to remind her you have no bulge. Great.
Because you have qualified immunity. I don't have qualified immunity.
You don't have qualified
yes,
immunity.
You do.
That's why you're recording.
You have a form of protection. You guys have a form of protection. You think that you have no protection? And there's no accountability with NYPD. Do you care about CCRB?
Really?
Do you care about CCRB? No, you don't, because you know it doesn't do that. CCRB can't do that.
That's a lie. Completely lies.
You need to do your research.
That's why
you need to do your research.
That's why
do your research then.
That's why
you know how much body cam footage went missing that CCRB requested?
Exactly.
That you guys don't produce? That's it. Just do your job lately. That's it.
Hi, this is my better side, okay?
All right, welcome to YouTube. Welcome to Pirates
Better
Around.
side.
Love to see me on Facebook, all right?
Hold on, I'm gonna get a bus ticket so I can travel to your other side and get the better shot.
We're here because apparently, I'm sorry. All right, we're here because apparently you're doing inappropriate things and saying inappropriate things, and people are calling on you.
Well, that's a lie.
This is exactly the conversation that I would get. And this is why I guess I'm so good at this, upholding the law thing and not like copping out. Because this is the conversation would happen every single day at school. We got a call, Paul. You're doing something inappropriate again. And I go, what, jacking off in the back of the class is inappropriate? No one's looking back there. They're all watching. Sort of kidding. Sort of. But yeah, I mean, it's like, who are you? How do you get to decide what's appropriate for me and not? And where does that begin and end, by the way? You know, I get a feeling if we completely turned over individually and collectively the idea of appropriate, not appropriate to these people, it wouldn't be good. Matter of fact, I think the last 4 years was kind of proof of that. So, yeah, I got really used to this conversation. Paul, you're doing something inappropriate again. I go, well, apparently my whole existence and modality of expression is inappropriate to this culture and society. So what do we do about this? And pretty much what they came up with was, you're going to change your whole personality while taking our drugs, or we're going to kill you directly or indirectly. We're going to, if not kill you, we're going to put you through pain and suffering. And then that's how you find God, turns out. Turns out that's how you find God, for those who are wondering. Praise God in the Talcottian fashion, right? And no, I'm not mocking the God of creation. I'm mocking, in a sense, the perception that we hold at times of what is real and what isn't real, brothers and sisters.
And I'm going to vouch for that.
Sir, stop. Singing?
No, I'm not going to
I'm
stop.
talking to him.
I'm talking to you.
You're interfering with my investigation with him.
I don't care about your investigation. He's my friend.
Then you're going to be arrested for obstruction. All right, so I would prefer you to let me finish my investigation, okay, without interruption. Sir, can I have you step over here?
No, absolutely not. I'm his attorney, and I'm advising him not to speak to you. Claim your Fifth Amendment right. Fifth Amendment right now. Fifth Amendment, don't speak to.
The last morning, you're interfering with my investigation. If you continue, then I'm going to have to remove you. Yes, sir.
No, I don't think you can do that.
I'm trying to, but you won't stop talking.
Please let me speak. Ma'am, I sat here and I sung some music. That's what I did.
Okay. Well, why are people calling us on you then?
I
Telling us
don't
that you're
know,
being
ma'am.
inappropriate.
Inappropriate?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, but what are they saying?
Fifth Amendment.
Are you interrupting me again? Are you interrupting my investigation again?
As his attorney,
You're not an attorney.
I am.
Show me your law degree.
Ma'am,
what college you graduated from?
It's called the U.S. Constitution, and we don't have it.
Be careful.
I do have
They can do illegal things and throw you in jail.
I do have an attorney.
Listen.
And listen to my story.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
sitting here in hiding because my attorney, Richard Manzo, law office in Titusville, and the Titusville Police Department know I'm right here.
Name and badge number,
Getting
sir.
death threats on TikTok.
Okay.
I got screenshots. I got, can I go get the card of the
The
investigator?
reason why I'm here is because people.
But false accusations got nothing to do with what I'm doing.
So people here called us to
And
come,
people don't lie
to come speak to you
about
because
what?
they feel well, I'll explain it to you again. I've said it 3 times already, but I don't have.
Yeah, but that's not the
I
truth.
don't have any crayons or puppets to explain
She
it any simpler to you. All right. The fact that you're
said
doing something
inappropriate.
over here, I don't know what you're doing.
But she can't tell you what
but
it is.
Listen,
Yes.
can I
That's
finish
right,
talking?
because there's no law being broken here.
What I'm being told is that people.
It is a total
that you're being
harassment.
loud, and that.
Ma'am, you
you're
need to
being-
de-escalate. Take the Fifth Amendment. Say nothing more. As you say no
Ma'am,
more words.
All I'm doing is trying to tell you that I've been sitting here.
You go and talk to the people that called you.
I would like a supervisor too.
Right. Bring a supervisor over here because you are out of line. No crime has been committed. You are out of line. And you're going straight on YouTube.
They're talking and trying to justify hurting you.
Right. You're not going to hurt this man, not with me standing here.
I'm just trying to explain myself.
What it is people are calling in saying you're serving the peace of being too loud. All they want to do is just quiet it down.
Okay, I'll quiet
Well, I'm a witness to
Don't
say he
interrupt
hadn't
him.
done that.
Don't interrupt him. You're gonna go to jail.
I won't sing
That's
one
all it
more
is.
song.
Okay.
That's the problem.
De-escalate, ma'am.
So if you're going near people, which I'm not saying you are, don't sing toward them, okay?
I was just saying.
Keep yourself and keep you guys, okay?
Yes.
Do that for me?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
If that's their complaint, I can comply with a complaint.
Perfect.
You know, I'm complaining about the people that complained.
Okay.
Are you going to do some of that now? Go talk to the people that complained.
Me and you were good.
All right. I'm complaining about the people that complained. So you go and harass them. This man has done nothing.
I was just saying.
He's done nothing wrong.
My friend asked me to sing because I told him I'm an entertainer. I'm a performer. I've been a former drag queen.
Oh, I'm going to get a million
So,
views.
and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. But what you have to understand too is that this is a public park. This isn't.
That's right, it's public.
This isn't a private residence. It's a public park. So some
Just
people
our
may not
kids
like
here
that.
and trying to play, okay?
But I did nothing derogatory.
Right. But if we get the call, then we have to at least get you to quiet it down.
And you got my word that's okay. Period. Because I'm not here to disrespect y'all. I'm not here to disrespect
It's gonna be
them.
the same with
I'm
your
in
office.
Was he
hiding because
hurting
of that.
anybody when you walked up?
Easy. Can
No, because I don't
these
like what's
guys
going
are-
down
these
here. I
guys
don't,
are
man.
really here for me though, and I love you, brother. But I want to solve this with these guys, and then let that die off so they can go do what they really need to do. Because, I mean, what's fair is what's fair.
What's your name?
David Fowler.
David
I'm the drag queen pastor.
Okay.
And then I've been doing that.
And
a
he's
long
very
time, and
famous.
I get a lot
He
of
is.
hate, and I'm really here.
So David, you know why we're
Because
here? We're all good. You're gonna keep it
We're all
quiet,
good,
right?
man. They will not hear me sing one more song.
All right, listen to your actual lawyer next time. Not some street lawyer, okay?
Yeah.
All right, well.
Well,
Yeah.
you already met.
Let's do a little gaslighting triangulation campaign like they all like to do to try to keep you in the unknown. Listen to your real lawyer, non-lawyer next time, not a straight one or some dummy like Paul Enslaved on YouTube. Yeah, they're desperate to not want you guys to learn the law. Oh yeah. Make sure you just call up some guy in a suit who's going to charge you a whole bunch of money to tell you what he was taught, which is a whole bunch of nothingness at the end of the day. Whole bunch of nonsense. Right? That's what they want. Makes everything run a lot smoother. A lot more control, which like would which is what they call orderly, a lot more profitable, and a lot less like chaotic freedom with all these rights people have, you know? All right, viral judge, aka Fleischer. That's how they're now calling him, the viral judge. Judge non-judge. Pops off on guy with second DUI. My favorite effeminate pimper and macker, Fleischer. Did anybody reach out to him to get Fleischer on the broadcast? I know Joshua did. One of the intercessors, ambassadors, if you will, was in contact with both sides. So I'd like to push for that. I wouldn't mind 10, 20 minutes or more, whatever Fleischer's willing to apportion. Hell, I'd even throw him a few bucks. Why not? You know, man's got to make a living. Yeah, it'd be rather interesting. Maybe we could even do a simulation. Fleischer and I. No, not like that. Get your head out of the gutter, people. It's not my type. We could do a simulation of like Paulys arrested again for like no license, registration, insurance, and plates. He's got guns. He's got weed. What shall we do? And then we'd like do a simulation. Fleischer, go ahead, take over. You know, and then we go like, okay, scene, go. You know, and we carry it out. And I tell Fleischer, oh man, I'm imagining. I'm like a kid on Christmas. Christmas is coming up. If I could get judge, non-judge Fleischer on this broadcast, even for 10 minutes to do a courtroom simulation of how it would go with him and I, and for him to even give me the wink and the nod, you know, like, I see you, fat Paulie. I know what you're up to. It's a good thing. I just can't promote it because I'm pimping and macking here. I got slaves and fucking counties and shit to deal with. You know the game. You know the thing. And I go, I know, I got you, Fleischer. I see how it works. It's not my karma. It's your fucking karma. You're doing it. You're living it. I don't, you know. I'm not in opposition, but I'm not in necessarily alignment in the way that I live with the legal society. But that doesn't mean that I have any problems or issues with them. They have their society and their culture, and all the slaves seem to love it. And no matter how many times I tell them what's available, they're not interested. So what are you going to do? Let's see. Yeah, let's go Fleischer.
If you act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child, and I'm going to put you over my knee, and I'm going to spank you like a little child. You come back here, but I'm going to do it with a ton of jail time.
Judge, may we approach?
Yeah. Hi, Casey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I do have a plea for you today on Mr. Bryant.
You say Mr. Bryant?
Yes, Jason Bryant.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Bryant. Oh.
So it is actually not a second.
Your Honor, if I may, it's not a second because our investigator reached out to the county and found that the records were expunged. So
it's still,
Your Honor, under the code, you can't use expunged records for purpose of enhancement. And we reached out to appellate to confirm that as well as other people, as well as from the AG's office, and they've also.
So what happened? Did it get dismissed?
So
expunged?
It's a conviction that was expunged.
Still enhance it to a second.
We can't use
Not
the
with an
expunged
expunction.
records, Your Honor.
Technically, they shouldn't even know about it.
Yes, that's the issue.
You should have seen that cop freaking out when they brought me to the jail, and the head of the jail said, "We don't want him. Don't bring him here." And he was on the phone screaming, going, "What do you mean? There's a gun involved. You got to take him." And then he just left us. He wrote up, I got the paperwork of the statement he typed out to try to submit to the court. And he was so pissed. He looked up on the NCIS. He goes, "This guy's got multiple warrants from the past that were apparently expunged from the record because there's no contract." He tried to add all the shit that he could in to get everybody scared because they either don't know the law or don't care to uphold the law. It's really fascinating. And they scream and yell. They're so tyrannical and demon possessed. They scream and yell on the phone with the head of the jail, with the FBI, with whoever's in touch with them. They don't want, because it's almost like this position where if they accept that there's the other side of the law and it's real and folks like me can get somewhere with it, it completely invalidates all their power. See, is what it's really all about. It's not about public safety. It's not about the law. It's about each one of these grunts on the ground feeling powerful. And when you go to court over and over again and you get results and you don't have to listen to them and the code doesn't apply in certain situations, they get really in their pride and ego. And they go, well, what am I doing this all for? If guys like this could just go to court, keep walking the fuck out and not have to pay for anything and do what I have to do and everyone else has to do. And that's the point. You don't have to do it, right? You just believe you do. And you've been entered into that system and you keep complying and cooperating and working from that corrupted, skewed position inside of yourself in consciousness and awareness. So it's like they can't let it go. They won't let it go. Their false power is gone. And then what do they have left? They don't have God. They don't have trust, equity, and faith. They don't have love in their life. They're not co-creating anything. See, this is all subconscious and archetypal. And it goes on all day, every day.
So for that reason is why we put a reduction to a first.
So if
Yes.
we could refile it as a first, but we're not allowed, like per our appellate division, we can't use it for anything else, like to upcharge to a second.
Here's the thing. You've already had one that's dismissed. You now pick up another.
Is it still crackling on the video? Are you saying my voice is crackling or the video is? Is the video still crackling?
Other one, right? You know, when do we say when? When do the proverbial slaps on the wrist stop? You know, how old are you now?
41.
You're 41. When do we get it? You know, do you watch the news? How many times a day do people die in Harris County because of the DWI?
Every day, all the time.
Every freaking day, every single day. And the problem here is that what I have found when we go too low on punishment with repeat offenders, I have found that they wrap their car around the pole the next week. And that's why I have an extremely hard time of taking another proverbial slap on the wrist if you've even had one dismissed. Because who's to say you've learned anything? Tell me about the facts, will you, please?
Yes, Judge. So the facts were the officers were dispatched to a major crash call, and a witness stated he arrived at the accident, observed the defendant sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle with the engine still on, and saw the defendant get out of the vehicle and sit by a tree. The officers observed the defendant to be sitting under the tree near the vehicle. And was
Did you say there was an accident?
It was a single car
It was a single
accident,
accident. He
Judge.
had hit a tree, and then he was being treated by HFD upon the arrival of the officers. And the defendant's vehicle had right bumper damage and windshield down and the glove box open from the accident. And that's when the officers found
two guns.
Yes, a loaded handgun on the sidewalk and another single 9mm near the vehicle. And then the officers then observed bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, and a strong odor of alcohol coming from the defendant. And the defendant was unable to walk due to the injuries from the accident. The defendant admitted to driving, crashing the vehicle, and owning a firearm. He also admitted to consuming the alcohol. And that's when the defendant was transported to Memorial Hermann by ambulance and was unable to perform SFSTs due to the hospital visit. And a blood draw was performed.
What was the blood?
It came back at 0.153.
Did you guys enhance it to a 15 above?
No, Your Honor, we did not.
How did they even charge it as a second when you're telling me that it's been expunged?
Originally, it was charged using the expunged records because they only ran an NCIC, and for some reason it came up on NCIC when it shouldn't have. That's the issue.
Forever, for the rest of your life, you now see, even if it's expunged, people still see it. Doesn't matter. You know, in the future, going forward, what do you think is going to happen if you get pulled over and an officer looks at your record? Right. From now on, you're looking at a minimum of 30 days in jail. I'm going to tell you now, Mr. Bright, I don't want to take this. I don't think it's fair. You know, I don't on any seconds because, you know, there has to be consequence for behavior and it's not fair. This is the last time you will get a proverbial slap on the wrist. I want you to understand that. Anytime you get pulled over, they're going to see all this. You will get taken down. All you have to do is push a button on your freaking phone. $30 to $40 on an Uber will take you anywhere you need to go. Do you understand how much money have you paid them to represent you? How much money have you paid to represent on the first freaking DWI? And now you're back. I'm going to tell you, if you act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child, and I'm going to put you over my knee, and I'm going to spank you like a little child. You come back here, but I'm going to do it with a ton of jail time. Do you understand? You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right.
So, like, I'm just wondering in this moment, you know, like, the more that we sit here and even have these experiences, doesn't it kind of take the edge off of? And I'm not saying like this is what they're scared of in a way. I'm not saying take the edge off in the sense of feeling like we could just do whatever the fuck we want, have no consequences. Because we know that this system, given the right circumstances, will fry the shit out of you. But I'm just saying, doesn't it kind of like show how it's kind of a game and it's about power and values and convictions and understanding and application and results and how you can, we're back to you're talking with your parents and they're attempting to govern you and they're claiming you did something inappropriate. And if you can substantiate it and make it make sense and show them that you're not a threat to yourself and them and the house and society, they're probably not going to be bothered with you. Because why? You know, even if treating you is different than how we treat the majority of others, it's like, what's the real problem? What's the issue? You can start to see through the veil in a sense, right? You start to see the forest for the trees rather than what you think it is and what it feels like. That's just my experience, especially the more and more that I go to court and get out on the other side and not have to hire the attorney and understand the law and just common sense and get results with other people. It just becomes more and more of a game where there's real consequences. But as long as you're not doing anything wrong and you're not causing harm and you're convicted in your heart that you're doing what's true and what's right, what's really the worst that can happen? Especially if you don't have a lengthy record. Someone like Julian, I mean, shit, there's folks who have no record who in certain circumstances, they kill somebody. And they do like a couple years, you know, with all things considered, certain conditions and all the rest of it. Now, of course, I'm not advocating for people to be just going out and testing this theory and seeing what they can quote unquote get away with. I'm just saying it sort of changes the perspective on what's actually going on here and the fact that this is not all a monolithic system. It doesn't always go one way. There isn't just one way. We have to live with it and around it. There's a whole bunch of moving parts. And at least a dual jurisdiction / perspective.
Right to appeal once you accept this agreement. You can never change this or undo this. Do you understand? How to plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated. I will find you guilty. I will send you to 3 days in jail. I'll give you credit for 1. I'm going to suspend your license for a year. Do not drive until you get a license. I am also now going to hit you with the DPS surcharge that you will be required to pay. That is a $3,000 surcharge you're going to be required to pay. You will also be required to pay the court costs, which are around $400 to $500. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to get it one way or the other, because if you don't, every $100 that you owe, you will be sitting 1 day in jail. So you can imagine on a $35,000 to $4,000 bill right now that you're going to get, how much you will sit in jail. Sure. I want you to understand that we will not tolerate DWIs in Harris County, and we're going to get blood one way or the other. You understand? Yes, sir. It's just not fair when it's so easy to find another way. You know, I like to drink. I like to drink a lot. I love my meals really, really spicy. And I love to go out with my wife. How do you think I do it though? Right. And then I can just be towed, you know, but that's the responsible thing to do. And I hope.
Yeah, Fleischer, this was a family broadcast, but let's not get into how you live personally. You also like to, after going out to dinner and drinking wine, fuck your wife and not give her an orgasm. That's not a responsible thing to do. Okay. But I don't show up at your house and slap your wife's dick out of your hand and tell you how to make love. You know, that's just the bottom line here. So it's like, it's called logic, morals, and ethics for a reason. And civics used to be a part of that. We've lost sight of that. Notice when you go to school nowadays, for those of you who remember, who aren't so old, well, if you remember last 30 or so years, they're no longer teaching logic, morals, ethics, and civics. I wonder why. Maybe because it's just that much easier to fool everyone and control them. Get them to follow their legal, culture, societal codes, nonsense, and ways of living.
That you really get it from now on. Because God forbid you do something that you really can't walk away from. Do you understand? All right. Good luck. Thank you, guys. Happy to see you, Mr. Jones. You've now picked up a third case. You now stand charged with failure to identify oneself. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be.
Even the codes are such total bullshit. He just admitted that. Like, they can use that to slave you if they really don't like you. But he just said $100 per day is the thing. So if you're charged with breaking a code, as if you could break a code, you didn't follow the code. We observed you not following it, as we believe. We're charging you $2,000 for that. That means you're facing 20 days by my quick calculations. So they like to throw the up to 6 months thing at you to scare the shit out of you. Just like the last half a dozen court interactions, I was facing up to like 5 to 6 years. If unless it's all run concurrently, if you look at each charge and what the charge carries. But what's the reality of what they're saying? 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. So we're really talking like 50 days here. You know, unless they really go, Paulie's a danger. He's a crazy Sovsit. We really don't like him because he shows up like the Castro and says, fuck all pigs. I hate cops. Oh, yeah. Well, then they just fucking go. They go, oh, what's the code say? Oh, great. 6 months? Yeah, go do it. Because they don't like you. They think you're a dick. And they don't mind sucking a whole bunch of revenue off the back of your ass to pimp on you. Especially if you challenge them and play games with them.
Yes, sir.
On December 5th, 2024, officer initiated a traffic stop on defendant's vehicle for failure to display a front license plate while he was driving in the 5900 block of Mercer Street in Harris County, Texas. Officer made contact with the occupants and detected the odor of marijuana emitting from the driver's side window. All 3 occupants were detained for a PC search. The defendant provided the name of Kendrick Johnson with a date of birth of 8/30/2006, which returned with nothing. Officer used a mobile AFIS device and found defendant's real name to be Jamarcus Jones with the date of birth of 8/30/06.
I ordered you as a condition of your bond, and you promised me when you got here last time that you would not drive. Stop. Did you say that he was a driver here? Stop. Don't say anything. I don't want you. Don't. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. I was under the impression he's driving.
He's now giving the man, the citizen slave, legal advice from the bench. Fleischer is fucking like no other, man. I've never seen anybody who's so good. He is such the archetypal like Hollywood Jew judge, where he's just so comfortable in his Jewiness and his lifestyle and this system that he's like, we're gonna get this. We're gonna pimp you the fuck up today. Telling you this, he's my favorite pimper and macker. I can't deny it. My favorite enslaver. If I had to pick a favorite, you know, I don't really like these dynamics. You know, I don't like having to go through them. I love the game, so what I like doesn't really matter. You know, we do this because it's part of the game and in our blood. We don't do it because we like it or don't like it. But yeah, he's now judge, jury, executioner, and defendant's attorney from the bench. Hey, bro, you have a right to remain silent. Use that, okay? I'm gonna now collude with the prosecution to decide how we're gonna fucking pigeonhole you and rein you in, and turn your rights over for benefits and privileges, and use public safety clause to generate a whole bunch of revenue for Harris County while keeping everyone safe. I'm guessing also Fleischer, if you come on, I won't, I'll leave a lot of this humor to the side if you ever wind up coming on here, presuming you're even watching now. But I'm going to go ahead and say, for comedic purposes, if nothing else, that I'm guessing Fleischer not a big fan of black folks. I'm going out on a limb. You know, like me, if I'm an administrator, black folk, I almost have the opposite thing. Like I'm almost reverse racist against, like, you know, white people. Like Fleischer comes in, does anything wrong, I go, Fleischer, you're getting the max. You know better. You know, black folks like this guy come in from the inner city, you know, they're impoverished, they don't have a father at home. I kind of feel a bit sorry for him, you know, and kind of want to show him a different way and remind him that people care, you know. Maybe it could change their life, right? I mean, so could, I guess, slaving them up and giving them the max. But yeah, I always get the vibe that Fleischer and a lot of these other white folks not too keen on black folks, like living around them, being around there, riding around Harris County. I don't know. Maybe that's just, I'm projecting that.
Driving here, is he not?
There were 3 occupants in the car, Judge. I'm trying to see if they clarified. He was a passenger. He was the front passenger, Judge.
Okay, so tell me, let's do a deeper dive.
Sorry?
Let's do a deeper dive. So they pull him over. He's the passenger.
There was an odor of marijuana detected.
So what happened next?
So
He's black. That's what I mean. That's black culture.
Okay.
It's guerrilla culture as well. If you pull me over, there's always an odor of marijuana.
And the front seat passenger, which is the defendant, provided the name of Henry Johnson. And mobile AFIS revealed that wasn't his true name. And so he was charged with failure to ID.
Do we have any co-defendants in this case?
Yes, John Burns.
Okay. So what's the cause number on that?
On that one?
Yeah.
It's 25-417-01. That's in court 15.
Okay. Is there a third co-defendant as well? Okay. Mr. Jones, I'm glad that you're not driving. Regardless, you've picked up a new case. I don't know what we're going to do, but normally when you pick up a new case while you're on bond, we revoke the bond on the old case. So, I mean, it goes with you. I'm going to appoint your lawyer today. We'll figure out how we go forward. But for now,
He loves putting black people in
I'm going to appoint your lawyer. We'll see how we go forward. But
I might ask him that. If Fleischer came here, I go, Fleischer, keep somewhat real with me. We're behind the scenes, you know. You love putting black people in jail. I can tell you do. I never see him put anyone else in jail other than black people. He does it sort of begrudgingly because he feels sorry too. He's like, oh, these blacks, they got no father at home. You know, they got a toxic culture. Their buddies on the streets and their family are toxic. And they're behind the 8 ball. But he just, you never see him put anyone else in jail other than black people. And he somewhat does it begrudgingly, but he kind of loves it. He's like, oh, the jail. I mean, in his mind, in his world, the jail was built for black people. Let's just be real about it. And again, this is sort of for entertainment, comedic purposes, but I'm not reaching too far here. Right? I'm just going to be completely candid and clear about that. Comedic purposes, not reaching too far. These folks literally sit around in these suits all day and go, how many more jails are we going to build specifically for black people so we can like make money off keeping people safe from them, keeping these white people safe from black people? It's pretty much the civil rights era all over again. Oh, man. And people like me. Black people and supposed pink people, white people. What black people think are white people like me that are actually pink skinned, brown spotted, dirty Europeans who were brought over here in cages, right? That's the only thing. Like Fleischer, the Jew, him and his buddies, they just sit around all day and go, make another private prison for Leroy and Jamal and M. Davis and throw Paul and Slave's trailer dwelling ass in there too if you can get it done, you know, without getting us sued. So, yeah, I mean, hey, this is why you wonder why I somewhat identify with the blacks and the browns, because I am the Negro of Europe, right? I am the American Negro of Europe. Our people were brought here in cages and enslaved and treated like dirt and pictured as monkeys, right? They even say I'm albino today. They're calling me a black person and saying I'm a gorilla. What is that? I'm a victim of racism and no one even cares. You know, this is how crazy it is. I don't even have advocates. Black folks have advocates. Brown folks have advocates. No one's advocating for the Irish, Italian, white gorilla. They're calling me a monkey and an albino every day and saying I'm a lesser human. Help? Anyone? See? No one cares. Dare I even bring up the J word? You know, dare I point out that Fleischer's obviously a Jew? And this might be the synagogue of Shaitan, and all hell breaks loose, literally. God, can we get real here, people? Part of American culture was Archie Bunker and the Jeffersons and getting real. Remember when Archie would say, you know, something to, I'm paraphrasing, I love you, George, but you're a Negro. So, you know, it was real. They kept it real. Fleischer's not doing that. He's like, oh, you got to go with him because keeping Harry. You just don't like Negroes, Fleischer. We got to go backward to go forward. This is part of the political correctness that goes on these days, and it's not healthy. We got to get back to true American values, just owning our racism. Folks are racist, own it. Thoughts? They're right. There's no one here. Maybe I can get Kanye West on this broadcast at some point. He and I seem to align. All right. Absolutely nothing intelligible going on in chat. And I could have guessed that. Watch your mouth, bro. You're white. You don't know the difference between your and your. So you're not white, actually. Real white people know the difference between Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U-R-E. All right. So you're not white and I'm not white because even though I know the difference, I'm pink with brown spots and I have large nose and lips. And I didn't even realize, but above average penile component. We found that out a couple weeks ago, much to my shock and awe. Measured my genitalia. Well, not here. I'm not allowed to do that, but I measured and then brought the results back to the audience. They seem to enjoy that. Watch your mouth about my country, Israel. No, it's not a country. It's a state of Israel, like a state of Colorado or a state of Arizona. It's a corporation, dude. State of Israel is a corporation. It's a subsidiary corporation, just like United States is a subsidiary corporation. Guess who they all work for? Yeah, you might want to trace your lineage and history and the banking families back to the source there, Junior. So you don't have a country. That country was named a bunch of different things. It's not the state of Israel. Okay. You brought a corporation called the State of Israel into a place that at least partially is called Palestine to do 40 years later in 1947. We're beyond 40 years, 70 years, give or take. So 70 years after the creation of the State of Israel Corporation that was brought into the Middle East, you now are doing World War III over there and taking over the people's land who live there and using some fraudulent biblical claim to do it. Okay. So a news flash, by the way, I don't want to let you in on the fact that potentially, maybe, possibly the Masons wrote the Bible and the Quran and all the rest of the holy books and distributed them worldwide and told the same story about consciousness to give you the game in case you wanted to wake up, and did it in a way where you most likely wouldn't, so they'd be able to control you with their fraternal orders and churches and big religions. Okay. Sorry to burst bubbles here, but the history kind of shows that they're intergenerational tontine banking families that run Ponzi schemes and use corporate procedure to take over whole nations of people since the beginning of time and pit them against each other to do warfare to keep everybody at a certain rate of governance and population. This is not conspiracy theory. This is literally why they call the corporation that you get insurance from State Farm. The state of is the farm, and it operates by controlling your mind and heart, and it generates wealth off of your ass. And guess what? Every so often, the animals on the farm, they got to get harvested. If you didn't notice for the last 4 years. I'm sorry that all of this banking, by the way, traces back to a spiritual connection of inhabitation and possession talked about in those same scriptures. They gave you the whole game and did it in a way where it could free you if you let it be, but enslave you if you did not have the proper state of consciousness and awareness. And it's worked perfectly. It is so beautiful in its ugliness. I have to respect the opposition of you folks, who is not my enemy at this point. It is my greatest teacher and tester, the Dark One is. As it is for all of you folks, if you let it be. So you need to learn some fucking history. You need to know yourself to know other selves in the universe. You need to understand banking and political science. And more importantly, you need to understand biology on some level, synchronicity, psychology, sociology, anthropology, and spirituality for starters. So you got a lot of work to do. We could simplify it here. I could take you to my Mark Pacio 82-week course, which, you know, I could sum it up for you in probably 2 hours. I could give you the whole breakdown, all the words and terms, the symbols, how it all works, how it relates to us, what's important, what's not, what to do next, and how to manifest a kingdom of heaven within self and outside of self. Guess how many people are going to want to be a part of that because they can't see any value or truth in themselves and in this creation, and therefore can't see it with me. Take a guess. Shocking, right? But again, less is more. There's plenty of us. I'll steal a line from your boy there who hangs out with Diddy. I like the juxtaposition. Right after I give a spiritually faithful rant, I quote Jay-Z's rap song. They say there ain't many of us. I say less is more. There's plenty of us. It's about what you really want to achieve here. Only takes one free mind, heart, body, and soul to move mountains, believe it or not. Again, that was the story in that Masonic book that they gave to everybody that then they turned around and used it as a cult manuscript to believe on something coming over in a cloud instead of believing themselves and what inhabits them to take them and others to the next level. Hello. Where's OG Percy? My boy OG Percy. I might have to bring him up. Hails from a crypt. Israel, you've been duped, right? The majority of folks on this planet, if you will, have been duped. That's the whole point of this planet. It's a place of growth and learning and co-creation if you let it be. It's a place of an enfranchised endeavor to enslave and genocide if you let it be. Really about perception and choice, it would seem to me at this point. You get to receive what you receive. You know, you get to receive what you perceive. Wow, Jack Talcott, why don't you steal that? Because I know you're watching 90% of the time. Why don't you steal that, what I just came up with off the top of my head, making kind of a joke about what you constantly say that makes no sense? Now take that and actually make sense for once. You get to receive what you perceive. So based on what you see and understand and what you live into is going to generate the results you're going to get back. What you put out is what you get back. Pretty sound, huh? And also you get back folks who are in need of what you put out at times. America bad, British bad, everybody's bad, get off our nuts. I don't know what that means, sir. I'm going to throw you out because you can't cognize reality and you're obviously not open to listening to what I'm actually saying. I'm not, first of all, we talk U.S. corporation, state of Israel, and United Kingdom. They're all working together under contract in a special relationship. All your presidents have admitted that. They go there and bow to the queen. Okay? So that's not America. Americans don't bow to anyone other than God. Americans definitely don't bow to foreign powers that they've extricated themselves from at one point, which is American history. You have no idea what you're talking about. Most of you folks can't see the underworld and the overworld. You can't see the dual jurisdiction. You don't know right from wrong. You can't merge the masculine and feminine. That's why you're constantly in chaos and confusion. So we'll see you when you figure out yourself and what's going on around self. Is Jack self-realized? Absolutely not. If you have to ask, you already know the answer to the question. How could somebody be self-realized whose only claim to infamy is coming on here to proclaim how little they have and how no one will deal with them? Someone who's self-actualized and realized doesn't have that problem. Someone who's self-actualized and realized has so many people, places, and things to choose from. It's almost daunting and scary for them to figure out what to do next. They don't have a lack, they're in abundance. People who are self-actualized and realized are in abundance, whether they know it or not. See, that's what's interesting about self-realization, is there's levels to it like everything else. You know, and I'm learning that as we go forward here. So there's different levels and aspects to self-realized, and we could go around the sort of conditional aspects of that, and it's very simple. You know, do you like who and what you are? Do you respect who and what you are? On which levels? And then we go to the bodily, right? The mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the physical. They all work together, right? We don't hold one above the other. We understand that they all cooperate and work together. So self-actualized and realized on some level. Am I? Yes. Am I completely? No. Is Jack Talcott really at all? No, not really at all. Is he potentially on the way? Yeah, we all are. Right. So again, it's just, we could talk unconditional love, which I may have. I have love for everybody. If I don't, I practice that because it just feels better to me to try to find a space of loving everyone if I can. Whether I deal with them or not is a different story. But if we want to talk actualized and realized, it's very simple. You know, so like I've said in the past, you know, I've become at a certain point through the grace of God and the cooperation of these people, self-secure financially. You know, at some point I got self-secure and self-realized and actualized with broadcasting and co-creating with the legal and lawful at the courts, with dealing with a woman. Right. And again, I'm not saying that there's not more to the process, but it's been more and more over the past 3 to 5 years, different levels of actualization and realization. Just like today, I'm on a day 6 of no food. There was a point where I didn't think I could go, well, I'm not going to say 6 hours, but I didn't think I could go 24 hours without eating something. And we're on day 6. So actualize and realize. Why? Because I have to get my body into shape. I want to bring it to optimum performance. I want to heal my illness and dis-ease. Right? So constantly bringing solutions to self and other selves, and living in trust, equity, and faith, and generating a result that we can be proud of and or respect and give away to others. Do you see that going on, Mr. Talcott, on any level? I don't. But again, maybe I'm projecting, maybe I'm rejecting, maybe I'm being ignorant, maybe I'm being arrogant. I don't deny the potential. I don't deny that I have love for him and many others. I don't deny that I attempted to and have in the past worked with him and been entertained and entertained others and informed. Ultimately, you got to take the quote unquote good with the bad, or the real with the fake. You know, there's multiple facets and aspects of self, and there's multiple facets and aspects of realization within and with outside of self. So, you know, typically if you have to ask, you already know the answer. And typically someone who has nobody and nothing and nowhere to be, and no career and no finances, who seemingly feels like they have no place in a community, and isn't really inspiring or empowered, isn't exactly self-actualized and realized. You know, it's actually more of sort of a victim of their own circumstances, victimhood complex, it would seem to me. So again, I don't want to take too much time for that. Easy for me to get off on the Talcottian experience because he, as you know, is one of my guilty displeasures at times. He's a fascinating creature to observe and to experience with. But ultimately, I find him, at least if nothing else, either in the moment or long term, to be, if not a trigger for me, a toxic being to interact with and to maintain connected to and tethered with. And I suspect that's why his wife and child and pretty much everyone else don't interact with him and deal with him. Right? Because say what you want about me, I won't deny my shortcomings. I'm a pretty low maintenance person to the point where it almost bothers people. because I don't want anything from them more than whatever they are meant to give. And even that, at times, I don't take what's given because I just don't believe it's proper. But I'm not really looking for much from anyone. I really don't need to maintain a tethering experience. I don't really have much expectations for others, you know, and even myself. I've had to expand my expectations for myself while deleting expectations from others, you know. So it's like it just becomes a non-relationship with me because people go, we want to talk to you, we want to type to you, we want to like interact, and I'm like, I'm not really nurtured by that. I appreciate the experience. I appreciate that people have love for me and care for me and respect me and value me, and more importantly, what I do, and it gives them value. It helps to change their life, right? That's great. That's beautiful. I don't really require much of anything beyond that, to just serve a purpose and to live in values and principles, trust, equity, and faith, and surrender the rest. I'm not a very emotionally driven person, I guess you could say. If anything, I'm typically drained by social interactions. I'm not recharged and nurtured by them, especially if it's not with folks who don't align with me and how I'm living. You know? So, yeah, interesting reflection, perception. Alcadian one in myself. Opposames in many ways, if you will. All right, let's go Carl Lentz a few minutes, and then I'm getting the fuck out of here. Obviously, very thankful and grateful to contributors and supporters. You are a blessing to I. There's kind of too many of you at this point to, because I always feel like when I'll get on here, I'll mention one person, two person, three people, five people, and then I go back later and think, but what about this person, because I like these people and I respect them, and I know they get value here, and it feels improper to me to mention some folks and not others. So when I generalize it, it's not because I don't care, it's because I care that I do. I'm not diminishing you folks, right? I really do sit there oftentimes and say I really am thankful and grateful to be able to do what I do, especially the way I do it sometimes, and be a nasty motherfucker, and still have the contributions and support and care and respect and co-creation from others. So I'm blessed to have that. Oftentimes I sit there and wonder when that's going to go away and folks are going to get completely sick of me, the same way I get sick of myself at times, which is somewhat only natural, I guess, with every self in this experience, every kind of dynamic, right? Familiarity breeds contempt, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Enjoy the starvation celebration. Thank you. Thank you. Accepting compliments isn't for you. I don't want to live in a world where I need compliments from others to inspire me or nourish me, and I don't feel it necessary. Right? I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I grew up on so little attention and compliment that when I get it, it feels awkward to me. So I'd rather not experience it. So I may need it, right? That's the thing. I may need it, but not like it. It's very much like this fast. I may need it more than ever, but I don't like it. But I still got to do it. And I got to find the best good in it. Right? So I get that. I've been told that many times, and I don't need to be told that. I can be self-aware in the moment, right? People give me a compliment and I go, I don't like how that necessarily feels. Sometimes I do. Some compliments I like, even if not in the moment. It just puts me off. You know, I guess that's a testament to my narcissism and egotism, that the more people compliment me, the more I feel like it's weird. You know, like I'm not really looking for people's adoration and adulation and compliments. Although, again, sometimes it is nice to know that you're good at whatever you do, right? The compliments I like are when people tell me I do the good Bane voice, you know, or I'm doing a good broadcast, or I'm helping them to change their life in some ways, or stuff like that. That feeds my soul. That excites me. That turns me on, if you will. You know, when I know that I'm doing a good job and I know that I'm serving a purpose, right? But, you know, I don't mind too much when people tell me I'm sexy either from time to time. Happens few and far between, but when it does, I could use some more of that. I don't have the best self-image and body image, but I won't complain. Right? I won't put this audience through my complaint sessions, my victimhood complex. Imagine being morbidly obese and not having a great body image, by the way. Imagine that. Folks in chat will go, we need more of that. This audience, they go, we need more of that. You should be more down on your body image till it gets better. And down on others as well. Oh man. What a fucking world, huh? You are a great role model in my humble opinion. Yeah, right. Take that back to my middle school and high school. Take that back to my guidance counselor. Said I was fit to be the guy who mops the floors on the tier at jail. I took the test. They go, what are you fit to do in the corporate world? I took the test. She goes, the results are back. You're fit to go to jail and be the guy who mops the tier. And I go, no, that's not true. I'm supremely lazy. I don't want to walk back and forth in circles. It's very mechanistic. It bores me. Oh, well, you take what you can get in this life, I guess. Let's move on. Oh, come on. You're a stud. See, that's the thing. I'm kind of tired of men trying to fuck me on here in various ways, like Queen Stephen and others. I'm tired of men hitting on me and trying to fuck me. Yeah. So I appreciate it, though. I really do. Doesn't really bode well for the idea of having a family one day. Dr. D Head thinks I'm a stud. You down for an ass baby or what? You open to that? Who am I kidding? I'm ready to die over here until I get my body together, and I'm worried about having a family when I can barely, if at all, achieve penetration. The physics are so off at this point. Like, Paul, good news. We found a woman. She says that she wants to have a baby with you. The only problem is you can't achieve insertion for any more than a limited amount of time. It seems that the physics are off here. This isn't going to happen. We got the Nielsen ratings back. We got the results back. You do have 6.5 inches of dick. Turns out you have 24 inches of stomach. So if you could do the math there, right? It only leaves 18 inches of stomach once you do the differential. Right. It's like quadratic equations. You got to cancel out. Like once I can't 6.5 from 24, somewhere around 18, I'm thinking, you're left with 18 inches of stomach and no dick. That's a prescription for no child syndrome, right? NCS. All right. Where are we at here? Seriously. LMAO unreal. Don't make fun of me. All right. Grown ass. How dare you? I have a disability. I have NCS, and you're making fun of it. You wouldn't make fun of someone in a wheelchair. I can't even achieve penetration. You're gonna fucking laugh at me. It's not funny, man. That's not cool. Like Pizer said, it's not cool. What does that even mean? It just means you don't like what I'm saying. You're not saying it's not true. You just don't like it. It's not cool, man. All right. I'm probably going to hell for this broadcast for the first 3/4 of my lifestyle. Carl Lenz, 57 to 100 combined, couple minutes, and I'm out of here, people. You're lucky.
Who's the jury? I don't care. I don't care about the numbers. As long as it's a trial by jury, then no court of the United States government could retry the matter. And that's that Seventh Amendment thing I do with you guys all the time. Okay, federal court. What does federal mean throughout the world? What does federal mean?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, it's simple. All it is like some man from Thunder Bay up in Canada said, he called up during one of these shows and said, oh, you had a case going on today. How did it work out? He said, well, when I came out of federal court today, it worked out pretty good. So if you think federal is exclusive to the United States government's jurisdiction or authority and control, see, you'd be in error. See, if you knew what the word federal meant, there's federal courts in China. There's federal courts in Canada. There's federal courts in Mexico. Federal isn't exclusive to the corporation known as the United States of America. That's not like a Coca-Cola, like a trademark. It's not like you wouldn't be infringing on somebody's corporate structure by using the word federal. Federal is a Hebrew word. It just means to pledge. That's all it is. It's a Hebrew word. It means to pledge. Like you pledge to meet, like at a certain location, not in a certain location, but at a certain location. So when I'm in federal court, I'm in a mindset that I pledge to meet you in a court in a civil manner, and I want to meet at the district court, which is located on 1 Church Street, Montgomery, Alabama.
Great.
Okay. So there's a lot of little nuances of what all these words mean. And that was great about the folks from Canada when I wrote this for them at Queen's Bench. The court clerk lady was incredibly intelligent, and she went and she fixed all those words. So instead of her meeting at federal court, she met at her last name. Just say her last name was Smith. So the Smith court met at Queen's Bench. So what happened was the court clerk says, no, it's not the Smith court. It's family court, and you're going to meet in Queen's Bench. So the court clerk actually circled and crossed out all the things that this lady, well, what I wrote. She crossed out all the stuff and wrote the proper words that they recognize that get jurisdiction and control over that lady's paperwork. And I told that lady, no, don't accept any of these modifications to your paperwork. But thank God, some court clerk lady was trying to be nice, but she didn't realize that she just gave us proof, beyond a shadow of a doubt proof, that these words mean something to these people. If they wouldn't, she wouldn't have spent the whole day taking a red marker, crossing out these words and writing the proper words.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So thank God that they actually sent me a copy of the revised version of my paperwork through the court clerk of Queen's Bench Eyes. But I told them they actually accepted the paperwork for a minute, and then I told them to go back and leave it the way I wrote it. And then they left it the way I wrote it. That was on a Thursday. Monday they went to court. They kicked their ass, and they worked out a deal again. Back to the kids on Tuesday. But if she changed all the paperwork, then they would have had total control over them and the kids, and it would have been a holy disaster for that family. But yeah, I hope that helped with federal.
Yeah, it did. So if this paperwork that I'm looking at, is it still being supported by your moving forward?
Oh, absolutely. The only thing I got to do now, the only thing I would want to do now is I want to actually see what the actual case file looks like. I'm going to ask them for the authenticated,
certified
complete copy of the case file to date. So if they try to send me any stuff that's stylized as the United States District Court, I'm just going to send it back to them and say, hey, how did this get into my case file? This court, I'm not addressing this court. I did not move my claim into this court. Why is this court trespassing into my case? Why are they doing it? So Can you please, that's basically that simple. I'm going to wait for an answer from them. Say what gives the United States District Court the right to enter into a district court. I'd like to know how you believe that you have why you're submitting any paperwork into my case. This is my case.
Yeah.
If you want to make a case against me, make your own case against me. Get your own case number. Get your own case file.
Yeah.
But all he's basically saying is like, look, is this or is this not a public courthouse? Yes. Is this where people from 2 different states can meet? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so is there a reason why you won't allow me to seat a jury and let the jury hear my claim? Is there a reason why you deny me access to this public building? They better have a damn good reason. And that's how simple it's going to be from here on. But like I say, folks,
did someone also write a letter to a magistrate or something with that intent?
No, I'm going to write. His name is William Capel. And it's so funny. Even the U.S. Marshals asked me that back in January. He said, why do you keep calling him William or Mr. Capel? He says, he's a magistrate or he's a judge. I said, he's not my magistrate. He's not my judge. He said, he was assigned as a magistrate by the United States District Court. I didn't assign him as my magistrate.
Yeah.
If he wants, I asked him would he like to be the magistrate of the Lens Court, and he never responded. So I presume he does not want to be the magistrate of the Lens Court. He wants to be the magistrate of the United States District Court. Now, I have no affiliation with the United States District Court. I did not submit my paperwork to them, so I'm not under the control or authority of the United States District Court.
Right.
So, see, the federal marshals were able to keep up with me. They said, "Oh my God, this is so simple, it's scary." I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "I'm in no hurry." I said, "Because look at this. Let us make it this simple. If they, like I said, they offered me a settlement like 3 years ago now. If I took the $1 million, you guys would have never heard me. I would have never continued. I would have never done nothing. I would have taken my money and been with my kids, and you guys would have never heard of me."
Yeah, that's a lot of cats.
Yes, exactly. A lot of cash, a lot of cats, a lot of, you would never heard of me. But for some reason, I just said, no, man, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be a reason why I'm going through all this. The money's not that important. If you look at my first 2 lawsuits, I didn't even have a dollar amount in there.
All right, I think I'm going to leave it there. I got other things I need to do, including focusing on peace. Peace is available, brothers and sisters. I'll be back tomorrow somewhere between 12 and 5, barring some act of God and or the state, which of course we know more and more each day is becoming one and the same if you ask the average citizen slave. What do we have on the way out? Paul Infallible on the way out. Say goodnight to the bad guy. Starring Brian O'Shea, world famous comedian, entrepreneur, and extraordinaire.
I'm more than happy to take a peek at the title if you're willing to give it to me.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, but that's my thing. I'm not trying to give up
My
information.
fault. I just thought you said you were willing to show.
Right. It's important to get every single person and piece of property registered and identified with a state of and a corporate entity. We just gotta do it. It's gotta happen.
Questions like why I do what I do, why I am the person I am, and how you can't see that by coming up to a man and trying to identify him. Like a piece of plastic doesn't identify me. That's not me. I am me.
Why do we all pretend like it's better to exchange little plastic pieces to pretend that that means anything about who I am, that am is, or what I am, that am, or what it's connected to? Better yet, right? So that is the greatest resource and source of order and co-creation. The little plastic pieces don't do it any justice.
This is like my personal journey.
Dude, it's crazy because if you would have just given me your name,
If you guys would adjust, right? This is your logic. This is the logic of a tyrant, right? This is the logic of a horrible parent. This is the logic of an authoritarian everywhere. If you would have just did everything that we told you and asked you, we wouldn't try to make your life harder and do loss, injury, and harm to you. That is the rallying cry of tyrants everywhere from the beginning of time. Go fuck yourself. You don't get to tell us what we're going to do and be in life. All you teachers, all you parents, all you authoritarians, all you false prophets, you don't get to tell us what we're going to do and be in life at the expense of rolling up your sleeves and doing harm, like the Tao says. All you subjective moralists, all you solipsists, who you and your dogma is the only thing in creation that actually exists that you can confirm.
But say, if I would have just complied, if I'd have just done what she wanted, maybe that'd be better for me. Nah, if you would just maybe listen to what I'm saying, maybe it'd be better for you. Maybe, just maybe you're making a mistake. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this to people. Maybe you're like security guard for someone you don't even know. You're a security force for an invisible entity. You're working for, you don't know, you might be working for the devil.
Stop telling other motherfuckers who may be born and may be meant to be here at this time to influence all of us to do better and be better and have better, to just stop and just shut up and just go away. You're ahead of the game. No, fuck that. It's called free expression. It's called getting really real with ourselves and each other. It's called gambling, cosmic gambling on the truth and on faith. You didn't just hear him? You didn't just hear him? He said he's waiting for the day, just like I am, when they actually can show me that they can hurt me.
Just so you know, you should be cooperative in that way. Does that make sense?
But see, we can disagree.
That you have.
To submit, comply, and obey. I don't have a responsibility to submit and comply and obey to you guys. I don't. I have an authority to God, and I have an authority to my spirit. Like, so you guys, it doesn't matter what you guys do. Like I said, you guys could take me to jail. I only get better and level up from this stuff. You guys have never hurt me yet. I'm waiting to see when you guys can hurt me. When you guys take me to jail, when you guys try to do something to hurt me, it never works. You guys never teach me a lesson. You guys are never going to come up to my car and say, and then later on be like, okay, I'm going to give you the ID this time because I went to jail that time. I'm telling you guys, man. And this ain't just about me and my dirty ass in this car. I'm speaking a truth that's beyond me in this fucking car and my goofy presentation.
All right. So, Mr. No Name, we're gonna go with it. I want you to know what we legally are allowed to do, and then I want to proceed with what we're going to. And today we're gonna serve you by just calling it good as is and leave it alone and hope we don't have any later run-ins. How's that sound?
You guys do, all three of you, like your energy, like I deal with officers in situations like this, and our people do too. Like I mess with your energy. Like even though you guys, we might not be connected, like you guys could do things to me. Like even the language, like we could like cause loss, injury, or harm to you, but we're just not going to. That's how it is to me and my people.
It's us enforcing the laws thereof. Yes.
Right, but we as human beings to one another, like we all come from families, we're all brothers and sisters. Right. That's the kind of how I looked at it. Like we don't even get along with our own families a lot. So we're at the dinner table and we're having a discussion about something. That's how I look at it. And you guys are saying we can legally do this, we can legally do that, but we got to get back to the spirit of our gut instincts. It doesn't matter what's on all these papers.
You got owned. You got punked out like a bitch. And you don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to admit it. That's what Satanism is.